Mahalane, look at you guys. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. How you doing, Julian?
Good to see you, Scott. My goodness.
Good to see you. Man,
And
I'm excited.
Jackie's in the house. Wow. Good morning, Jackie. What time is it over there?
It is 7:30 here. What time
Wow.
is it there?
It's 6:30 here. That's right. You're East Coast.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not too
Joey,
bad.
Joey Putnam. Is that Joey Putnam or is that another Joey? I can't tell. He's on mute.
Can't see.
Ma Mahalani, can you show your face? I haven't seen you in so long.
Good morning, Mahalani.
Hey, cousin.
Michael.
Hey, neighbor. Hey, cuz.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Well, good. And then finally, we got the sage here. Michael Gifford's in the house.
Michael, hey.
Mike, you're on mute, buddy. Yeah, it's been a while since you've been on Zoom, huh? You're on mute. I can't hear
But
you.
I'm on Zoom all the time.
I know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
It's 5:30 in the morning, man.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, good to see you.
Good to see
See,
everyone.
look
There we
who's here.
go. Now we got some go.
Look who's here. See. All right, you guys. So we're getting started now. I'm just start because of time. Hey, we got a couple of new people here. Some of you, we've had this inner circle a few years ago. We used to meet every week. You're going to see a couple of new faces, and I'll tell you why in probably a little bit. But go ahead, and I want Vera to start first. Go ahead and introduce yourselves. We got two people, and you can just talk about how we met briefly so we can kind of give a kind of context because if you just show it up out of nowhere, they might want to know that. But first, Joey, are you in the car?
I am.
He's always in the car.
Are
I'm
you
always
always
in the
running
car.
from somebody? You're always looking back when you're driving too. I don't know what that means about your driving skills.
And I'm just paranoid, man. Just watching behind me.
All right. So, well, C just left. I don't know where she went. Okay, so V, you get to start first.
Okay, hi, good morning, all. What a great energy. So glad to be here. Uh, um, Julian, what a pleasure meeting him. We met a couple years, a more than couple, I think it was like 3 or 4 years ago. We worked together at the same company, EPM. That was 2021. I met him in person in an event. I went in Atlanta and it was just electric. I loved his energy and we connected and we've been in contact ever since. And I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, of course, of course. So the good thing about what I want you guys to know about Vera is that she actually is an empath, very much into sound healing and coaching. So I want you guys to know that as well. She also has a thing on TikTok where she's always playing around with animals. So I know some of you always like animals. There's a farm out there in Atlanta, right?
Florida. In
Florida, I'm
Florida.
sorry, Florida, yeah, and Orlando, right?
No, actually, the farm is in Venus,
Venus. Okay, so
not a
that's
planet, not a planet.
not that's is that near Jupiter? I mean, I know Jupiter's out there too. So
It's more to the middle. It's near Lake Placid,
okay, where all the alligators are. Okay, okay.
everywhere.
Awesome, awesome. Well, great. So you guys, so she's here, and I'll tell you why later because I think I want to talk to you guys a little bit about some things. But thank you guys for being here. See, go ahead and introduce yourself. Now you're in Sri Lanka, so go ahead and share how we met real quick.
Hi everyone. Hi Julian. So good to see you. I met Julian on Clubhouse, the Gen Z app, and it's just been so great meeting him since, and he's my friend. So learning from the best. I'm so thrilled to be a part of this group. He's told me about this group before. So thrilled to be here. Thanks, Julian.
Thanks for being here. I want you guys to know Sri Lanka coach as well has a lot of empowerment things for women in Sri Lanka. It's a whole different world, and she's actually a forerunner for making change and helping women empower themselves. So I think it's really powerful to have somebody from the other side of the planet to get some perspective. I think it's pretty awesome to have that impact. So, and Ref, look who's driving. Got you and Joey. Are you guys on the same road? I can't.
I don't know.
Yeah, do you guys see each other? Are you driving side by? Well, one's in the dark, one's in the light, so we'll
Let
just
me
leave it
see.
at that.
I was about that. Unless they're driving a blue Honda, that's what I'm parked next to right
I
now.
have kid drop off duty this morning, so
Okay.
yes, I am
Well,
on my way back.
well, it's good to see you. I know a few people couldn't make it. I know Jason. Is Jason say he was going to make it, Mike?
I didn't I didn't talk to him this week, so I'm
Okay.
not.
Well,
Yeah.
real quick, I want you guys to go ahead and introduce yourselves. I guess we'll start with my wife, Sandy. So, and there's real quick, just a quick introduction because we got new people and just say hi to people you know and blah, blah, blah. No formal stuff. And Jackie, oh, I'm sorry, Jackie first. Jackie's first because she's a new face too. So, Jackie, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Jackie Finelli. I'm from New Jersey. I'm wondering if Joey's also from New Jersey, and that's why like he's looking back like that in his rear view driving. It's a little Sopranos-esque right now for me watching this
Pretty
watching
much.
this thumbnail. But I met Julian at EPM. An incredibly kind, unique soul, right? So I immediately was just drawn to knowing him. And I'm in the middle of a project where I really wanted to get in touch with him and talk to him a little bit more about neurology and about the way the brain works. So he invited me to this,
Mhm.
and I'm happy to be here. Nice to
Yeah,
meet
we just did a little video. I recorded it, a little, I think it was like a 4 minute segment I posted on LinkedIn. It's really cool. I got to show you some stuff. It was actually fun talking to you. She's writing a really powerful book about PTS. And I don't, you notice I didn't use the word D on there. But from a spouse perspective or a partner perspective, when dealing with someone with PTS, I thought it was really fascinating. So I look forward to seeing that book come out. So really powerful. So, hey, let's just start with Sandy. Sandy is in the house. She's in the other side of the house, the other wing, which is about a mile away. Go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone that you don't know, and everybody else who knows you. Say hi, if you don't mind.
Guys, for those of you who know me, welcome back. It's good to see everybody. It's been a minute. How long has it been? Does anybody know? I was trying to remember how long ago it was.
2 years?
It's been 2 years? Okay. Wow. Wow. Wow, it's been a minute. Well, it's good to see everybody again. And welcome to the new people. Sandy Sado, met Julian 29, 30 years ago. And he invited me to this morning, and I thought I'd show up.
Just show up. Just here's talking anyway. So awesome, Scott. You're
Twisted my arm. What can I say? I had to show up anyway.
yeah. You didn't have to, but thank you, Scott.
All right, so Scott Pullman. I was a high school science teacher for 25 years, and I hung up my shingle back in May. I'm now working in real estate and finance. So I just made some cute little poker chips that say creative investor and lender. Been doing some private lending and such. I met Julian back when my son was in high school. He's 21 in the Army now.
Wow.
At a multifamily conference over in Texas, and been in touch for quite a few years. I think it's neat that we can pause this for a couple of years and we have old and new faces all popping on at the same time. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Thanks, Scott. And Jenny, where is she? Is she
She's driving the kids. She said she might pop on.
okay?
I don't see her on here. Normally, I'm going to be the one driving the kids, I think, to work. So
Yeah, I got your message on that. So I thought you were going to be driving. I was like, wow, okay. You must have dropped them off early and they're sitting outside cold because you wanted to be on the call. I get it. It's all good.
commitment.
All right, Melanie, my cousin.
Hey, I'm Heilani Trapinski. I'm Hawaiian, and then found out Julian was Hawaiian, so that's why we're cousins. Everybody in Hawaii is a cousin.
Exactly.
But I consider him more like family, him and Sandy. We met back at Kyle Wilson's Inner Circle. Oh my gosh, was that 4 years ago?
That was, I think, 5.
5 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, then it may be longer since we've all been together here then. Maybe more
Yeah.
like 3 years ago when we've been together here. But yeah, so Julian and I are same wavelength. And we just hit it off and here I am.
Yep, that's how we got
So
together.
love
And
him and Sandy dearly.
yeah, we've been to your house and you've made us cookies and cooked us that all kind of stuff. So awesome. And I never buy cookies from your daughter because we don't eat cookies. So-
Hey, the group can always take donations. We just want to.
okay.
He's lying. He eats cookies all the time.
My girls
And
are
then
Girl
other
Scouts.
things.
That's funny. So just thanks, Sandy. That's all right. We got to talk about that. I'm gonna mute you on purpose. Hey, Mike, your turn, Mr. Sage.
Sage. Well, I'm Mike Gifford. I live in Denver, Colorado. I met Julian and Sandy, not together, but shortly thereafter, about what, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And at an event, Julie and I bonded immediately. within that first year, Sandy and Julian came to my home for a week, so we really got to know each other. Took them hiking, so that was fun. But yeah, they're family, and I enjoy this. It's a good exchange of information. I'm semi-retired now from the last time we talked, so I have a little different perspective on life and doing some fun things in my semi-retirement. So
Yes, you are. We'll talk about that. So, and he's a dancer now, guys.
I don't think so.
Getting those dollars. Okay. And then Joey, what about you, Joey?
Oh, let me see. I think Julian, it started with us I think it was a blind date. We thought each other were kind of cute, and then no, wait, I'm sorry, that was a different scenario.
Yeah, that was a different story. That was different Julian.
Yeah, we won't tell Sandy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met Julian. Julian and I have been in the same circles a couple of times, just in jobs, and I worked with a program called Independent Study Mentorship for the local high school district here, and met Julian's son. And as we were talking, he finally looked at me. He goes, "Do you know my dad? Because you guys are all in the same place." We're like, "Yeah, okay, I know who he is." So we connected that way and started in. We live here locally. Julian, I'm still holding your airplane and your bottle and your shirt hostage. So at some point we'll get that back to you.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, Joey.
Yeah,
Joey's much
that's
taller
been
in person too, by the way. I just want you guys to know that. Much taller. So, and then, and Riff, how's your husband doing? And I want to introduce first. I'm sorry. I just wanted to talk about that.
Hey, yeah. Nice to see you guys. Gosh, I was thinking about it too. Like I was on the last inner circle call with you guys, I guess a few years ago. I don't even know how I joined that, but I guess somehow joined it through, I don't know, maybe it was Suha, but yeah, and just really enjoyed the conversations there, and everything just kind of clicked with what you were saying and talking about. And so I was like, you know what, this is a great group. And I'm glad you guys are restarting this. Husband's doing well. So my husband, Steve, I don't think he's ever actually joined any of these calls, but we all got on a call, like Sandy, Julian, myself, and Steve. And this is really interesting because a lot of similarities in terms of your stories and things like that just kind of connected with Steve, my husband. So maybe I'll get him to join these calls now in the mornings, but he's the one usually taking the kids, but he's not feeling too well. We just got back from our trip and I think he caught whatever I had. So he's taking it easy today, but yeah, nice to be here.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. And so guys, I just wanted to make sure I was really excited about this because I've been talking about getting this back together, but you guys all said something. You guys like the call because we share information, we share knowledge, we share wisdom. We actually learn from each other. And I think that's one of the best things a person can do is give to somebody else in knowledge and communication. And it's one thing I just loved. I've always been a connector in my heart by just my own personality. For instance, Scott reached out about frequencies, and I'm like, Vera, you need to talk to Vera. And then now Vera's here, and that's who you talk to about that, right? So it's like I've always been a connector by nature. And I think going back to my childhood, how I survived was figuring out who I can connect other people to so they see me as a resource. And it became just a personality of me, and I see it all the time. I'm always looking for ways to help other people get to the next level. So this inner circle was really branched off of my first experience with inner circle with Mahalani. I went to a Kyle Wilson inner circle here locally in Dallas. And I don't know, Milana, you was there. I don't know if you remember what I said to Kyle when I went as a guest, but I showed up late. I almost didn't go. I think Sandy and I were having a conversation and we ran over time, and I too late. I'm gonna be late. And I changed my mind to the last minute, and I showed up and I walked in while Kyle was in the center of the circle talking. And luckily there was a chair right at the door. So I just sat right there, just real quiet. And at the end of the conversation, after a few hours of just having people speak and having different speakers up there and interacting through breaks and stuff, he asked me what I felt in front of the whole group. And I don't know if you remember what I said, Milani, but I said, I feel like I'm home. It was like I felt the connection between people's energy and wanting to help other people and support one another for the sole purpose of just that just to help and support. And it was refreshing to have different perspectives, different people from different walks of life, but no one like comparing their pedigree of like education or their job or their companies. We had millionaires there, we had people that work 9 to 5, we had everything there, and I love that. And so we started this because I wanted to duplicate that for my own life because Kyle only does it like two, he doesn't do it enough for me. So I started a Zoom session, and if you guys recall, we were about to have a session where we met and we all flew into Dallas and we were going to have a conference and I sold with Corey's help, we had 200 tickets sold to come and see certain of you and me and for you to speak and teach and then interact. We're going to create our own inner circle that was going to be local. Well, I want to see if you guys are interested in doing that in the near future as well. And I talked to Vera just recently, and it was like you have a location as well that can house an engagement as well. So it was like my light bulb just started going off, and I feel like there's synergy with all that. And it's such a desire of mine. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about that and see what you guys think. Would that be something in the near future, something we can build on? Because there's something else I want to talk to you about too. But I want to see if you guys are interested in something like that and see if we can go into and I'm asking you guys because you are the inner circle that I is not a like and a few others that aren't here, but there's an inner circle and then there's a circle. And so the inner circle are the people that are helping design the circle. And I want to see if you guys are open to that because I want to make sure that when we give, we're not just giving to ourselves, but it's about like how do we teach other people how to give as well. Not to be too woo-woo or like, hugging a tree thing, but I want to make sure we learn how to just kind of share who we are and helps other people share who they are because there's such a divide. So let's go back to, are you guys open to doing something like that in the near future?
Yes.
Anybody?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. So now, see, you live in Sri Lanka, so flying out here would be a little of a challenge, but we can all go to Sri Lanka, right? I mean, that's something we can think about.
I don't know.
I mean, it's a long flight, but we'll get there. So another thing I want to see, if you guys notice, I put you on this school thing. Did everybody see the school?
Huh?
You
School?
see the school link? I gave you guys a school link.
I
Yes.
registered, but I don't have much experience in that. But I did add my bio and do all of that. Thank you.
Yeah, can I share your screen? And we'll get into some stuff about what you guys are doing in a minute, but I want to make sure I give time to this because I want to make sure you guys see this. Now, I want to make this a little bigger. And what I mean by that, because I want to help create like a community. And the school link I sent is really focused on like how to do that. So if you guys have products or say you have something you want to share or things like that, you can do that. Let me share my screen so you can see what it is. And this is more the business side of it. So forgive me for that. But do you guys see my screen?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you see the school link that says this pivot to change?
No.
No, we see your screen. We see your background.
Okay, let me go back to that one. There we go. All right, now you should see it, right? You see, it says pivot to change right here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are part of this link. And what I have is I have like this, like right now, I have on here a few things where it's a community. So if you go to the community, you got like Scott sent a message. You guys are the members in the community. And you guys can communicate to each other. We can relate to each other. We can share information. We can actually ask questions. We can connect them to other people. It's like a portal. It's almost like a LinkedIn page, if you will, for us. And at the same time, it's you have something you want to offer people. It can be here as well. I have this Pivot to Change PDF that I created that I give out when I do seminars, but I'm also going to have NLP training, inner circle recordings I want to record. And that's another thing I want to talk to you guys about. And inner circle support resources if you have things you want to share with people. And then my NeuroWhyolgoy program, which is kind of like NLP and behavioral science stuff. So, and then you see Sandy's going to have, if she wants, I put it in here for her, she's going to do her fitness stuff. If you have something you want, we can have courses in here. Now, the reason I bring this up because I want to start offering people to join, and they would join in after 30 minutes of us having our inner circle. and it would be something that they can join in, but anybody else is going to cost them to join because it's going to be a resource in a community for them too, but it's going to be a charge for them to be a part of it. So I want you guys to be okay with that. And I want to see if you get your opinion about recording this. And if it's recorded, I need to get you're okay to be able to splice and dice and maybe have your comments on there. And I would always ask you, is this okay if we share this on LinkedIn or on YouTube or on Instagram, that kind of thing? But the community is built around being able to have us as a place where we can add our products, our services, and also just a little bit about us. And maybe if we want to share and support each other in that way. And so I wanted to get your opinion about it. This is going to be posted on LinkedIn to get other people to join. This is Dave. I don't know if you guys remember David. Do you guys remember David from the Center Circle from Canada? He joined years ago, and he was a great guy. He's still a great guy. I just talked to him recently. He said I can post this, but he talked about his experience on the inner circle and how it changed some of the way he thought about things. And I wanted to see if you guys would be okay with me posting and getting us to have more of an interaction on LinkedIn and stuff like that. So with all that said, share your thoughts. I gave you a lot of information, probably too much at once, but I want to get your thoughts about something like that because it is a new way of interacting with people is kind of sharing information and getting kind of personal about your own journey of how you got that information. And I want to see if you guys are comfortable with doing something like that. And please speak up.
Well, I think we got so much benefit the last cycle of helping each other, and it was all new, and everybody really opened up. And I think for me, there was a lot of healing. There was a lot of knowing you're not alone. There was a lot of support on things you're going through. There was a lot of good comments that helped each other. So yeah, again, helping us as an inner circle, and then expanding that is exactly why I do things like this. So
I appreciate that. Anybody else have anything to share? Their thoughts?
I'd agree with what Michael just said. I mean, I've changed a lot in the past 4 years. I mean, I almost died in these past 4 years
Wow.
of Lyme disease.
That's right. I remember them. Yeah, you went to Florida for healing, right? Didn't you? Yeah.
I did. They're the ones that almost killed me.
Are you serious? It was just the opposite?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Now looking at a place in Germany to go to.
Wow.
But through that, I've learned IASIS, which Jackie, you'd probably be interested in because I got PTSD from it and it helped me, or should I say PTS? I like that. And I went and learned what it was because it helped me so much. And I'm like, dude, the whole world needs to learn about this treatment and help others. But yeah, no, I think this would be a great idea. I think the masses, I mean, I'm also in a longevity company now that I just bought, and that's a whole nother topic within itself that could help. I mean, shoot, Scott reached out to me. When was that, Scott? I don't know.
Just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, well, I've slept lost since then. I was going to say a couple months ago, and I'm like, I know this name. How do I know this name? And then it dawned on me who he was. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I thought that was just so cool out of the blue. And yeah, I'm very excited that we're doing this again.
Yeah, it's been a calling, and I've just recently been doing some more deep dive in my own psychology, and I realized that a lot of the things I've been doing, I've been holding back on out of some feeling of, I guess it would be approval, and I kind of slow down on things because I'm looking for some approval to it or some form of like recognition that my efforts. And so I realized that I'm just going to do it and find those who are willing to do it with me. And then, like, if you guys aren't, then I totally respect that. There's no harm, no foul. But I do believe when you share with others, you do get something in return. It's not a dopamine fix. It's like you're available for getting more information, and you self-therapize in a lot of ways, but you also help others through your own trials. And I think learning how to be open about your trials as a form of recognition, not like looking for a hug, but just recognizing it and then sharing how you're overcoming it gives people opportunities to do the same. And I think that's really what this inner circle was about, was getting us to open up and share amongst ourselves and see that we're all the same, regardless of color, creed, or geographical location, whatever. We're all at the same emotions. And so I thought it was very fascinating. I found so much joy in the inner circle. And so I think I put it off because I was going through my own struggles too. And so I appreciate you guys coming back and being a part of it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And so again, I don't have all the answers to what it's going to look like. I'm going to design it as it goes and take your feedback and get some ideas. I mean, this is yours, not mine. It's ours, basically. We should work together on how we can do this. And it's like I already have the school, and the platform is kind of like, it's really popular. Do you guys know who Alex Hormozy is? Has anybody heard of him? Okay, so Alex Hormozy, he bought school, but he's an entrepreneur. He's very well known. And I focus on Gen Z. He's one of those guys that he's almost a billionaire, and he just focuses on like developing fitness stuff. But he started a company acquisitions.com. So he bought gyms, got their memberships up really high and then sold them. So he's been doing that for years, and he bought school, and he's just a really powerful guy on how he thinks. And he's not a philosopher, but he's just really powerful businessman. So I've been really paying attention to people like him, and school is his platform. So I just respect him. So I got his platform out of all the others. But I just want you guys to know this is ours. If you have something you want to post on here, you can. If you want to add a PDF that you made that you want people to have, if you have a resource you want to give out, those are things that are going to be available. If you want to charge for them, those are things we can talk about too. But again, this is something that is more about the inner circle. One of the biggest things now is being consistent on social media, as that's how you get people to know who you are. So this is going to give you a platform. So if you want to teach something, Michael Gifford is known for being the sage with words and quotes, right? So say Michael wants to start, I know he won't because I know Michael, but say he wants to be known as a guy that does that. Well, speaking to us as a group, there's a different energy than when you're talking to a camera by yourself. Would you guys agree? So if you're talking to a group of people, you can say things to that group of people, and you can use that to socialize that on social media if you want, because now that you're talking to a group, it's going to come across much more like authoritative and also knowledge driven and also more energetic to the audience. So it just gives you a platform if you have something you want to share, a 15-minute or 7-minute spew you want to get into, and we can edit that and send it to you. That's the kind of stuff I want to give you guys. Okay. So what about you, Joey? I mean, you're the mortgage guy. Well, you're not even you're a mortgage guy, but you're not the same kind of mortgage guy. You've changed your position. So what do you think? You're on mute. I don't know if you know that, but I can't hear you.
Is that better?
Yep.
There we go. Yeah, it's getting ready to change again here in a couple of weeks. And for the first time, I will not be in a lending or depository institution, which is kind of exciting.
You went to the mailroom, huh? Awesome.
Yeah, finally, I made it up to the mailroom. I'm pretty excited about my sorting skills. So yeah, this group has given me the opportunity to be able to float ideas, but also to validate behaviors. And from a leadership perspective, from an interpersonal perspective, hey, this is how I'm dealing with this. This is how I'm seeing this. And that's, to me, that's where the benefit comes, is that ability in a safe space to be able to throw things out and validate. And I like the other aspects that are on that. I want to make sure that we still have that safe space to be able to have vulnerability and say, this is what I did, and be able to say to each other, that was dumb. But here's how you can fix it.
I miss those days. I remember Jason. You guys haven't met Jason yet, but when he gets on the call, Jason is infamous for facial expressions. So if you say something he doesn't agree with, he'll give you that. He's basically the good guy that says, I disagree. He's a lot of fun. But you guys don't know Jason, but I just did a seminar in Wyoming with him and got to learn about eat his steaks. So if you ever want a really good steak, he's the guy. But yeah, he's just awesome guy. So we'll be here soon. So Sandy, what's your thoughts? I mean, this is your opportunity to tell me what you've heard me talk about this stuff all the time, but what do you think about, I don't think I really showed you school. So, I mean, what do you think about something like this?
Yeah, no, this is great. I know for you, you have a passion, as you said, for connecting. And I think that everybody has, taken something from our last call. So I think this is great that you're starting it up again. I know it's your passion, to share, teach, educate, and connect with people. So, I'm on board with it. But yeah, and I think it's just great to have a platform that we can. I think one of y'all said that where it's like you feel like you're not alone and you can share things with other people. I think it's very important to have a place where, you can be transparent and vulnerable with others, accountable with others. So yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, it was actually just so you guys know the new people, like Vera, and we used to have some pretty interesting conversations, and nothing's scripted, nothing's planned. It's kind of like we just listen to what we're talking about up front, and then I might ask a question, but just see the interaction was just powerful. I thought it was really interesting. So see, tell us what you think. Now you're in Sri Lanka, so it's going to be hard to show up at the event, but maybe you will. You never know, right? But what do you think about a platform where it's like this kind of venue? It sounds more monetized when I talk about it from a school perspective, but it really starts off with just a group of people that you can relate to, talk to, share, throw things out there without being having that guard, and just really have that vulnerability where people can really embrace and give input and help. So what do you think about it?
I think it's a really good idea. I mean, firstly, I'm just honored that you even invited me into the inner circle. I think it's a very sacred, precious space. And I also like how Joey mentioned the word vulnerability, because, the older I get, I'm sharpening my perspective about life. I've been running my business for a while now. I've been in leadership for a while, and I'm just learning that with more experience, there's just so much more. There's just the learning journey never ends. And this year, my struggles, Julian, this year, if I encapsulate my life into one word, it's just been resilience, resilience, resilience. And if I can join a space which will allow me to bring out more of the vulnerability and share and learn from each other, and start from a place of I'm ready to just relearn and learn together and be vulnerable and just bring your true honest self to the table, because end of the day we all wear a mask when we go out there, right? How do we empower ourselves and each other to just take that mask down and be like, it's okay? And end of the day, we're just nothing but a heart that feels and a mind that thinks. No labels. And I love the whole nature of what you're trying to do here. And I think the school perspective is very important because, this is something that you want to make, long term, something impactful. And if it has to be impactful, you need to come in with some sort of an ecosystem to make this really built to last and good to great. So I'm really excited for what you're trying to do here. And, Vera and I are really new jumping into this inner circle. So we are not circle, but we are in already. But I'm initially just going to play the role of observe. I'm just going to, observe all of you and learn from all of you and just pitch in whenever I can.
Right.
Really excited for learning.
Thanks
so much.
And I'm not going to share your journey. I'll let you do that. But I know you've been through like an HBO movie in the last year. And so I think, when you're ready to share, I think it'll be really awesome to get perspectives and have people that would embrace you based off of just you, and I think it's really awesome. So thank you. I hope you can join. What time is it over there? I know it's probably you're in tomorrow, I think. You're ahead of us. So what time is it over there right now?
It's 6:30 p.m.
Okay. All right. Well, that's not too late. As long as I was on a call with somebody in Sri Lanka. I think I was talking to them at 4 a.m. Yeah, because they needed to have a meeting before business was over. So that's why. Okay. So I had to meet them at 4 a.m. in the morning. So I did a training session at 4 a.m. I had to get it was crazy. So awesome. Hey guys, guess who's here? Suha. Uh-oh. Suha, can you show your face or are you still in bed? You're on mute. So Suha. Suha. I just saw your post the other day too, where you were doing some transition. Okay, so Suha's kind of here, sort of. So Suha was a part of Inner Circle as well. So she lives in Florida as well. There she is. You're on mute though. I can't hear you. You're on mute.
Sorry, guys. I'm actually driving, so I'm not showing my face.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
So ironically, it's funny. I just so you know, Rafit and Suha, I don't think we've ever met in person, correct?
You, you and I
Yeah.
think we've met once, actually.
No, really?
You guys
was
have
a while,
totally
but
met
it was-
in person. You guys
But I have
totally
not met Sandy, but I have met you, actually.
Really?
I
Okay.
believe so. I think so, because I think it was when you joined EPM and I had left. I think it was during that time. I think.
You were already gone when I showed up there.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it was around that time. I
Okay.
think it was it at the Vision Summit? Weren't you at the Vision Summit with Christine Beckwith?
Well, she was at both. Was it Vision Summit? No, I was at EPMX. I wasn't at the Vision Summit.
Okay. I know we've met because I know we have a hug. Anyway,
You say so. Okay. I apologize. I don't remember, but I know I didn't read.
that's okay. See, I'm not memorable. There you go.
You are very memorable, very extremely memorable. That's why I'm kidding. And then Rafet, I don't think we've met, right? I think she's on mute still too. That's fine.
Yeah, no, we haven't. Just Zoom calls.
Yeah, just Zoom calls.
Zoom
Yeah.
calls, yeah.
I have a picture of Jackie at the EPMX, and Vera, you and I were talking. Somebody took a picture of us having a conversation. It looked like we were in a deep conversation about something because I was like looking and talking like this. And then Jackie, I think it was during the beer drinking with all those other people.
I was taking in all your wisdom, Julian.
Yeah.
Hey, Jackie.
Hi, sweetie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm
You
good.
guys know each other. So with that said, I want to make sure like share anything going on with you guys. I mean, I just shared a little bit that I had a kind of I realized what I was doing to myself when it comes to like everything I say I want to have, when I want to achieve. I kind of have been holding myself back, like waiting for something to happen. Found myself. Do you guys find yourselves in that space? Now we have New Year's coming, so New Year's resolution gives us those habitual thoughts of like my goals, but have you guys seen it like anything in your life where you feel like there's parts of you that are kind of like not moving, but kind of in a stagnant, like frozen state, but always finding yourself thinking about it, but not doing anything about it?
All the
No,
time.
go ahead, Suha.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yes, it does happen pretty frequently, but I read something on LinkedIn yesterday that truly, truly resonated with me. And it was about what are we watering? Meaning, what are we spending our time on? Are we spending our time and watering the wrong thing? And that's holding us back from growing. And I'm actually going to sit on that one for a bit and really figure out what am I watering that's not really serving me and serving my purpose.
I just got a vision of you sitting on a wet puddle. I'm kidding. That was kind of funny. But I totally saw that post too, actually. It's interesting. Those little cliche words, that's what I love about Mike. He sends out these little cliches, but it gives you a quick visual of like what are you nurturing that is like you're comfortable nurturing all the time? What is a common nurture that is just habitual that you just keep pushing? And so, yeah, I totally agree with you on that. New Year's is a kind of, I don't like goal setting anymore. I think having a goal, but having an image. And I know that when I went to, when Sandy and I went to, where would you just go, Sandy? Bahamas, duh. Well, we just came back from Bahamas. I really love the feeling of being paid and flown out to speak and teach. It was like, okay, that's what I love. And I've always ignored it. I mean, I don't know. I just saw Roy, who's not here, who will be on the call next week. Roy and I had lunch out here. Roy George, some of you know who he is. And he's like, so I said I didn't want to be a speaker. He goes, "You don't want to be a speaker?" And I'm like, "No, I don't really want to be a speaker." And I said, "Well, I don't want to be a Joe Dispenza or anything like that." He goes, "Why not?" He goes, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "I have no idea." And he challenged me because I limit myself because I start thinking of all the triggers, like to Suha's point. I start watering these little moments of memories of what I think about myself instead of just focusing on what I want to feel. I focused on what I used to feel. Does that make sense? I judge my future by my past. Have you guys been like that before? So I think that's what, there's a kick in the pants for me. So that's why I'm just going to move forward and do this, and regardless of what I feel. And so I think Suha's point is, watering the spots that you don't feel like watering is really the key. So anybody else want to share any thoughts like that on their life?
I just want to say, Julian, that I think the last time we did this, what it evolved to for me is opening my mind to understanding that there were a lot of things that I didn't know, but I didn't know that I didn't know them. And so it was very interesting for me to hear of people's successes and struggles and broaden myself to the point where I said, yeah, I don't want to water anything that's not going to bring value. You learn to say no. You learn to make it more about self in a respectful way. Taking care of yourself is borderline selfishness, but I think we all need to live in that space where the healthier you are, the more you can help others. And that's what I got out of the last sessions is get healthy and help others.
Yeah, you hit on a really important nerve right there. It's like you take it as selfishness to help yourself. And I know Jackie has something to say about that. But it's interesting because in some ways, is that is that the challenge? And I do feel like if we focus on ourselves, we're being selfish. I mean, that's actually part of the disconnect, right? The cognitive dissonance is like, is it wrong for me to think about me in this situation? So anybody want to share? Do you feel guilty to focus on yourself? I would say, I know I do.
I know I do as well.
Yeah.
One of my coaches, Bronwyn Morrissey, I think some of you know her, has always taught us that you have to lead yourself first before you can lead others. And it really starts with knowing who you are and what your purpose is. So to Mike's point, that is also something I got a lot of, because we all think we know a lot of stuff. But then when you're faced with others who are in different situations and you hear their journey and what they've gone through and what they've done, you get a better understanding. And so I think, to be able to be a good leader, an exceptional leader, you have to be able to lead yourself first. And that starts by knowing who you are and understanding not just your goals, but your purpose.
Yeah, but I love what you said, but I think it also, would you agree, it goes a little deeper. Like even right now, if I say, would you guys agree, some people might not want to speak up because they might feel like, well, I don't want to be I don't want to say something over somebody else. I mean, that's a form of, it's the opposite side, but it's like we put ourselves down thinking we're going to offend is also the other side of like not being yourself or being comfortable taking care of you first. So we'll hurt ourselves by not speaking up because we don't want to come across as fill in the blank. And in some ways, that's not being yourself. That's almost like you're hurting yourself in the concept of a jacket of virtue or the jacket of being selfless. Would you agree that that happens sometimes?
I think so. And I think that you have to feel that way in order to grow. I mean, you may think you're growing, but if you're not expanding and getting new ideas and sharing we all want to hide our fears. We all want to hide our deficiencies. But when you can open up with a group like this and there's no judging, man, it's just very powerful. And you don't even know it creeps up on you. And you say, wow, that direction is good for me. And we validate each other. We encourage each other. And that's, to me, what this is all about.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, Mike, I would say I'm probably the most loose in the conversation, but Mike and Joey and a few others you guys talk a lot, and you guys built a bond, right? You guys met through this inner circle and built a bond, and I think it's pretty cool. So I think to your point, that vulnerability is what we all desire. We desire that family, if you will. I always say relatives are relatives and family is people you choose. And so most of you were like family to me because I've chose you to be, because I know I've seen your spiritual selves, not your financial selves or your titles or anything like that. So it's very interesting that you said that, but you have to be vulnerable. And I think being vulnerable comes across like weakness to a lot of people, or at least we assume it is. I think the culture's shifting though, and that's one thing I like to teach about is the pivot that we are now looking for people that we relate to from a personal level to brand that really is what the brands that we buy into. So we don't buy into the perfection, we buy into the flaws because then we feel accepted by finding the same flaws. I find that very fascinating. So anybody want to share? I mean, I got some quiet folks in the
Well,
house. But
That
I was
was the
about to,
best quote.
go ahead, Jackie.
Thanks. I mean, that was just the best quote. What did you just say? You just said something about in the flaws. What was that thing you just said? Are you recording this? I need that for the book. I
Okay,
need
I'll give
that
it to you.
for the book.
Okay. Well, I talk about it in the seminars that we don't want perfection. We want flaws because we feel like we relate to those that are flawed. So, but I think part of the drama with that and what the shift is that we feel the veil is such a thick veil now because we see the inauthenticity in everything. We've been almost like become aware of the marketing tactics from, what's in toothpaste to, how they market to what they say to word choices, NLP, behavioral science. Everything's been like exposed. And so we see the tricks. And so we don't trust the tricks anymore. We want authenticity. The
Well, I
flip
love
side.
that. Like, I love that, right?
Yeah.
And that's why, being here, I think it's remarkable that you invited me here this morning. And that's what this is about in the sense that, I'm working on publishing this book, but the entire point of this book, Companions of War, it's a field guide for spouses of veterans with PTSD, is to fund a foundation for said spouses by Companions of War that we can do exactly this here. I'd like to throw in some yoga and farm the table and sound healing. Vera, I'll holler at you. But being able to bring people together, and that's the fear in this book, and that's been my journey this year, is like, man, this is a story of flaws and failures, but then also some triumphs, right? And putting it out there really is vulnerable. But I'm going to learn so much from all of you just in like how I start this community that I eventually want to travel and how I really engage people in a group atmosphere when it gets to be very vulnerable and very dark conversations.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just and that's why I was so thrown by what you just said there of like people want the flaws.
Yeah. They want the flaws.
I
Go ahead. Sorry. Who was going to say something?
I was going to say, Jackie, you hit on two things: being vulnerable and talking about dark things. And I mean, difficult conversations sometimes take courage to realize that you need to step up and say what you need to say. Our society these days, being vulnerable is seen as a weakness as opposed to a strength. And I think it's truly the opposite. When you're vulnerable and you let your mask, I joined, I'm not sure I met the lady from Sri Lanka. I think you were talking to her, but she said about dropping your mask. Dropping the mask is something that we're all very, very afraid of doing. Our inner critic, our imposter syndrome tells us not to do that because it wants to protect us from being seen as weak or from being seen as, superfluous, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I think you hit on those 2 points really well there, Jackie.
Thank you.
Well, and Suhas, I think there's something that follows that, and that's our encouragement for one another, because you can be vulnerable, you can take that mask off, but if you don't have that community that encourages you, you will realize the fear that you had in doing it. And that's something Mike mentioned earlier, talking about we encourage each other. That's the place where you've got to have that peace and that community to be able to step into that encouragement and know that, hey, this is not going to be a fear realized. This is going to be an open door.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys hit on something that going back to just how the brain works, that the brain doesn't see threat as a movie scene like a lion or tiger. It sees threat that focuses on offending the ego of identity. So we now have a new identity, a new threat, which is ego. Ego is the new lion. So we have to really understand that, or like to Suha's point, there's two worlds out there. There's the world we see and there's a world we don't see. And the world we don't see is that there's another genre out there, and I see it all the time. And I think if those who watch, like, unfortunately, I will admit that I watch probably too much TikTok and Instagrams, but I do it as a study. All right, I'm doing it as a mental study of human nature. But you would see that,
That's an excuse.
Yeah.
but the
Those
ones
cat videos are, I get it.
they're
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, they're amazing. But I'm gonna tell you that the new generation has leveraged this vulnerability as the marketing tool for their businesses more than any other industry, I would say culture ever existing before. Every business is built on strength and knowledge and skill, and I would say a pedigree and just abilities to lead people. These guys are building their business saying, I don't know what's going on. I come from a dysfunctional family. My father beat me. I was homeless. I was addicted to drugs. I've been trying to figure my life out. And then they get a million likes on that. And then they say, this is what I'm trying to learn. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm screwing up. And people are buying that product because they're trying. That is the new business model. And I've seen it and it's blowing me away. And that's what I'm finding to be like the new world is that. If you look at where Mr. Beast started, they started with, I don't know what I'm doing. If you look at where he is now, billionaire. If you look at Ben Francis with Gymshark, didn't know what I'm doing. I'm living in my garage. My family won't let me move in the house because they think I'm a drug addict, blah, blah, blah. Gymshark now has $1.4 billion in sales and clothing from China on Shopify. This is the kind of stuff that's just blowing me away. And I think that that's going to be the norm. But problem with that is that people are going to start leveraging that and become, I would say, ingenuine, acting like they're genuine. So you're going to see that as well. Almost like, and you see it already. There's a video I saw yesterday. Yes, I see these things too much. But a guy mimicked a girl who's sitting in her car crying about what she's going through. And so he gets in his car and he's smiling. He's like, sets the camera up and then he starts crying. And then he stops crying and turns it off and gets back in the car and drives away. Because that's exactly what's happening. It's like somebody sets up an emotional moment, but it's not really emotional, but they're pretending to be emotional because they want to get more likes. And so you see a lot of it like shifting and you see this whole transition, people trying to get likes to show their vulnerability. So I think there's a challenge, but I think with us, we can have a mixture. And that's another thing I wanted to bring up. I would like to get like these Gen Z. I am part of a group called Mentor. I have a list of like I would say 3,000 different Gen Z business owners, entrepreneurs. Some of them are doing really well, some are just starting. But I would love to get one of them to come in and talk about their business and what they're doing, especially the ones that are successful, just so you guys can hear them as well, because I think it's going to be a fascinating shift in our culture. So anyway, I digressed a little bit. But anybody else have anything to share about this vulnerability? Sorry about that. I had coffee.
I have something to share. Because I'm a life coach, so everything you guys were talking about was like, yes, yes, I love it. The self-love. You can give what you don't have, right? You gotta love yourself first. With the vulnerability thing, what's happening right now is very true what you said. People will pretend to be something they're not. But when you are true to yourself and true to the frequency, to living an honest and true life, when that happens, you can see through it. The main thing that's happening right now that a lot of people are missing is that, oh, they can't see that I'm lying. Like, no, everybody can see it. If somebody's lying, the other people can see it. You might not be able to see it if you are such a liar yourself. Then you can just fall in lies. But at the end of the day, it's all about yourself. It's about within. If you can look within, if you can love all those parts of yourself, you can give that back to the world. And the parts of you that you're like, oh, I don't want to share this part, or I don't like that part of me. That's when you have to embrace that part. Most of us, we just want to, like you talked earlier, we just want to ignore the past. Like, I'm not that. No, I'm not that, but that was part of me. And if that's happening, there's something in there that wants to keep me safe. Sometimes I'm a procrastinator. I had a friend, she's like, such a procrastinator. I was like, you're not a procrastinator. It's a part of you that's trying to keep you safe. So we do certain things because we are afraid, but then if we embrace that fear, we'll find a whole new way. We find a whole new way of seeing life, living life, being in life.
I love that. I find that's exactly where I've been, just trying to stay safe. So I appreciate that 100%. And I don't know about you guys, I also see it that when I look at LinkedIn, there's a certain energy that I get because I'm used to being that guy that's used to, having a job. And yet there's this part of me that has this entrepreneur that's an entrepreneur. And I struggle with that. I see like this doorway of like confliction when I look at LinkedIn versus when I go and look at any other venue. I don't know if you guys ever feel that as well, but Jackie, you're an entrepreneur now, and so you know what I mean. It's like being an entrepreneur and then also looking at like the so-called security of having a 9 to 5, and that's always been this like weird part of me that I struggled with. And I don't know if you guys ever felt that, but that vulnerability of like going all in versus like finding security has always been this weird position. I think Sandy, when we first met, I was an entrepreneur and I got into business as a concept that I had to get a real job. That's my story. I'm sticking to it, but that's what I was told. And so I kind of got into this, like, I need to have a real job to be responsible. But it's kind of this constant pull and push. And to your point, being vulnerable about that is the first step of feeling how to figure that out. But if you don't recognize it, you'll just constantly live in that doorway, right? So I think it's very fascinating you said that. Any other comments about that?
I just want to share one more thing for you, actually, for the cousin in Hawaii. I was thinking of you. You talk about Lyme disease. My mentor, the person that I got certified for sound healing, she cured herself from Lyme disease with sound healing. That's how she became this business she is. I would just look into sound healing for Lyme disease. That's all I wanted to share.
It's the reason we're here. That's awesome.
Yeah, right.
Anybody else anything to share?
Second that, like I really second that, leaning in to the sound healing, to the grounding, to the earthing. Look up some fungus, some mushrooms, like get into the earth, like heavy into the earth. And most of it is going to be really inexpensive for you. But if you haven't seen the Earthing movie, watch it today.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful.
On a grounding bed.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I sell. I sell
Yeah.
grounding. Now we're the only company in the world that sells them.
And you feel it. You feel it, right? You feel it, don't you? Yeah. Double down on those bowls, man. I'm telling you what, there's something there.
It is.
I hate telling people that I have Lyme now because I get a lot of that. You name it, I've tried it. Lyme is a funny disease. It has a whole bunch of co-infections that go with it, and it's one thing's not going to help cure it all. So that's kind of the journey I've been on the past 4 years. But anyways, what I was going to say is what I have noticed in the speaking realm and just the realm of helping people, the more authentically open you are about what's going on in your life, the more people are going to relate to you and want to hear more, because everybody has something going on inside. Everybody. And if you are vulnerable and open to share what's gone on in your life, there's going to be somebody else out there that has something very similar or the same as you. And I think that by sharing what's been going on in your life, whether it's abuse that's happened or stuff that's happened in your childhood, or even with me, the Lyme, you are going to draw people to you that want to learn more. You're going to draw people to you that's really like, wow, I can learn from her or him, and I'll be able to get out of this rut that I've been in. So I think that being vulnerable is an opportunity to help others. I think it's a doorway to be able to say, hey, look, I'm not perfect, and I have a lot of shit that's gone on in my life. Let me help you and be able to walk you through what you're dealing with.
I agree. I hope you guys understand that's my journey, is just I love connecting with people. I think for me, like I remember, Melanie, I always say your struggles turn into your strengths. And so me not having a family, me growing up being ostracized and ostracizing myself from a family and just being a loner had me really hone in on what family actually represents. And so I've become very conditioned to want that family I never had. So my propensity is always looking to people to be connected with. And that made me a person that looks to connect, not be disingenuous, but be genuine with people. And so I really desire to do this. I hope you guys wanted to continue to join. I won't start it again until January, if that's fair with you guys. I mean, like the holidays are here, but I would like to invite you guys that are here now. You do not have to show up every Tuesday because other things are going on. But again, if you want to show up on any Tuesday, just show up. And if you want to talk about something, have a question, if you want to have it, like you want to have a 15-minute lesson, like I know Vera just showed her sound bowls. I don't know if you saw that, but she has a whole like a slew of bowls down there. If you want to share your bowls and share like what it looks like and how it works, we can do those types of things just to kind of give us a kind of feeling behind what you do and stuff like that. But that goes for anybody. If Sandy wants to talk about wellness and fitness and what she talks about, to Jackie want to talk about PTS. And my whole thing is, it's not a disability, a disorder. I mean, everybody has PTS, and we talked about that. But the level of emotion doesn't weigh itself out by war or by childhood traumas or by the fact that your boss is mean. Trauma is trauma, and it has no relevance on the experience itself, the visual of the experience, but more the emotion. It doesn't weigh out what mine's better than yours. So I don't believe it as a disability. It's a part of life, and we need to understand how to navigate around it and with it. So I just want us to be able to walk, talk and share and see being in Sri Lanka, one thing you got to know, just keep it in perspective that none of us know anybody you know. So you can be so vulnerable here that it's almost scary. You can be more vulnerable here than you can be anywhere in the world because no one knows the people you know in Sri Lanka. We're not going to be knocking on doors and be, guess what she told me? So it's actually a pretty safe space for you. And but Scott, I know people so you got to be careful. But with that said, at 7:30, I want to give you time back. But Mike, do you have a quote, any word that comes to mind from anybody? You normally do. So
Oh, I I subscribe to the poem Desiderata, and I don't know if anybody of you know that poem. It was Max Ehrlichman wrote it in 1927. He was an attorney, and if you have a chance to read Desiderata, it has so much in it that is relatable. One of the few of the sentences in it say, "Listen to the dull and ignorant; they too have their story." And I will tell you, I have gotten to know some of the most amazing people when I did not judge their initial appearance. So that's a guiding light. But my favorite quote is, although it is not clear to you, life is unfolding as it should. And I've talked to the guys that I've stayed in touch with many times, and I said, how many times have you gotten to those crossroads and you thought you knew better than your will? And you took the direction of your of what was happening to you and not what you thought you were supposed to do, and it turned out right. But all the times you said, no, that's not the path for me. This is the path for me. And then in hindsight, you looked at it and you say, no, I should have taken the other road. And so I believe that life is unfolding as it should. I believe people come into my life as they should. And I embrace that. And I think that is the beauty of this kind of group, because successful people do not like vulnerabilities. Successful people do not like flaws. And the one thing successful people do not know how to do without training is how to embrace their flaws as strengths. And so I think this group will help you do that. And you'll share your flaws and you'll feel better.
I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you. You guys, I really appreciate your time. I know, time is valuable. Again, if you didn't sign up for the school thing, please accept it. It's totally free for you guys. And I just want to keep building on that. I don't know how it's going to look. Just if you have ideas, let me know. But I just want to keep the momentum. We're going to start in January, the first. Do you guys want to start the second week of January? Is that fair? It was the second week. So we'll start the second week of January. Again, no obligation to be every Tuesday, but you'll get the invite. And I just really appreciate you guys. It's been great. I was actually really excited to this. I was like, oh my gosh, good to see people again. And so awesome to get to see you guys. And Suha, thank you. I know you were driving. Thanks for joining. And I'm going to get everybody I'm going to send you a thank you to everyone on school so you can get used to it. You can see if you want to post something or link something, but you can also communicate to each other through that. So Vera, if you want to send some stuff to Mahalani through school, you can do that. That way, if you have resources or things you want to share with each other, it's totally, right there for you. Okay. And I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. Awesome. Rafit, you got dressed up to take your kids to school? Seriously?
No, I had to do all of that afterwards. I dropped them off, did my morning routine, made breakfast for Steve. No, lots going on this morning. So
Tell him I said hi. I'd love to hear more about him. I know he has a fitness.
I told him, yeah, he got a glimpse of the conversation a little bit at the end, but so it's good. He knows I like, a lot of the stuff you shared today really resonated. So thank you. I know I was a bit quiet, but I appreciate all of the conversation. It really did resonate.
No worries, no worries. And Joey, we got to get you out of the car, dude. You got to find a home. I appreciate you guys. Well, I appreciate you guys. And tell Jenny I said hi, Scott, and I look forward to seeing you guys at the second week of June. Okay? I mean July. No, January.
January.
Another J.
January.
Good to see everybody. I may not be
Wonderful to see everyone.
I'll be at a conference this weekend. So
Peace out, guys.
All right, bye.
Take care.
Bye.
See you later.